Chati Adya. Where had we stopped? Samjanidhvam Sampruchyadhvam. What's the last one? Previous class. Samjanidhvam Sampruchyadhvam. Let us be in the company of scholars and be in their contact always. What's the one? Last one.
Samanavratam saha chittam.
Samanavratam saha chittamesham. Had I explained or just had dictated that?
Just listed.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Samanavratam saha chittamesham. If you say ready, I am ready, Shriramji. Okay. Samanavratam saha chittamesham. This vratam is a misleading word in the present day. Because this vratam is used in the Vedas, it's also used in the Puranas. But the meaning of the word vrata has been understood totally differently by these two groups. Now here, the Puranic method, when they say vrata, they mean some rituals, some puja, some aradhana to an idol or something, and propitiate it for their benefits. That's how they understand this vrata. Sometimes they also say that doing something continuously is also called vrata. But in the Vedic context, doing something continuously itself is vrata, and other things are not accepted there. Because the basic root of vrata is vritu vartane. Vritu vartane. Vartana means to do something continuously. If there is a break, it cannot be considered as a vrata. And vratas are begun, but never end. Vratas begin, but never end. It's for the whole life. So these are the qualities of features of the vrata. The Vedas are very clear what these vratas are. And we use a short list made by Patanjali in his Yoga Sutra. Yama Nima, he says, Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, 5. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana, another 5. 5 plus 5, 5 coming under Yama, 5 coming under Niyama. Very clearly, Patanjali says, these are not just vratas, these are mahavratas. Something to be followed with all reverence and seriousness for a better living. He is very clear about it. And we cannot give any alibis for that while practicing. You have to practice means you have to practice. You cannot give some reason and say, because of this reason, because of this pressure, because of this circumstance, I could not do it. No. You are not allowed. They are all mandatory. There too, to be precise, the first 5 are 100% mandatory. Ahimsa, Satya, Steya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapaswadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana, Niyama are also mandatory, but sometimes due to circumstances, a little this way or that may take go and doesn't matter. But that is also not allowed when you speak of Yama. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. So this is what they call it as vrata. Now, Samanam Vratam Saha chittamesham. Chittam. Next one is chittam. Chiti sanjnane is a root. Chiti sanjnane. Jnana is knowing. Fine. Sanjnana is knowing it rightly. And with all the dimensions. With all the dimensions, knowing it rightly is called as samjnana. One is Rata, another one is samjnana. Yesham. Yesham means these people, the subjects of Satchidananda, we human beings. In our life, let these two things be. One is the Rata, another one is the Chitta. Let our Ratas be together. Same, Samanam Vratam. Be together, Sahachittam. Let our thoughts, let our views be coherent, convergent. Let them not be divergent. What I think, what you think, what somebody thinks, let all these things be directed towards one common goal. That is Saha Chittam Esham. Esham Chittam Saha. Esham Vratam Samanam. The things what we follow is the same for all. Then it becomes more objective and the result is wonderful. If I follow something, somebody follows some other religious rite, somebody follows something else, and there's a lot of difference between what we follow in our life. Yes, there will be a lot of fights, frictions, and chaos. This says, let it not be there. So, an example, say Vratam, Ahimsa Vratam. It's a Mahavrata. Ahimsa Vratam means, number one, not to hurt anyone. That's very clear. That we all know. But that's not all. Ahimsa Vrata is, that's not all. We shall not hurt anyone. At the same time, we shall also not get hurt. That's the other part of the Ahimsa. This we forget generally. We always speak of don't hurt anyone, don't hurt anyone, don't hurt anyone. Right? That's only 50% of Ahimsa. At the same time, we should also not get hurt. This is equally important. How the second part will happen? Of course, first part is under our control. If I don't want to hurt, I will not hurt. That's fine. But how not to get hurt? It's another serious thing. Because somebody is hurting me, how can I control them? I get hurt. And because I get hurt, I cannot retort and hurt them back. Because I take them the Ahimsa Vrata. So what I should do? If they hurt, should I keep quiet? Or should I retort? Or what I should do? It's a very subtle question. For that sake, it says, why somebody hurts you or attacks you? Or is violent about you? Why? The simple answer is because we appear to them as weaklings. Because we appear to them as weaklings. They say, oh, this is a weak person, I can hurt him. I can fight with him. I can snub him, I can win over him. This is what they think. Because they assess us as weaklings. Now, if I don't want to get hurt, what should happen? My whole structure, my body language, the way I talk, everything should be so tough, should be so well that the other person should assess us as this person is capable. If he wants to retort, he can retort well. But because he is practicing Ahimsa, he is keeping quiet. But he is capable of, he is not a weakling, he is strong. So strength should get reflected in every word and action of ours. If our strength is reflected, your strength is shown, not by hurting, showing them that we have it, we have the potential, that's more than sufficient. They look at us, okay, this is a strong person, let's not hurt them, let's not have a friction with them. I can understand immediately. But at any point of time, if they assess that we are weaklings, yes, there's all the possibility that we get hurt. So not to get hurt is possible only when we are strong enough. And that should get reflected in our words and actions. Then nobody will hurt us. Now the ahimsa is complete. Hurt not and not get hurt. Both should. Now suppose this is samanam. So all the members of the society, if this is a common rule, what we all follow as a Rata, as a ritual, as a rite, as a penance, whatever you call it, we follow it strictly in the society. Yes. Lot of frictions, lot of fightings can always be prevented in the society. We can live friendly. Possible. We don't hurt anyone and are strong enough not to get hurt also. Same thing with other person also. You will not hurt them and they will be in such a position that they will not get hurt. So we are all strong. We all can fight with anyone and win over, but we will not deliberately. Now that is ahimsa. We don't hurt, we don't get hurt. So the samanam vratam, that is the vrata what we have taken. That's the vow what we have taken. That we will not hurt anyone and will not get hurt. And if we live up to that vow, fine. The society is peaceful. We respect each other. We respect the needs and personality and existence of each other. That's a wonderful society. You can create it. But all this will not happen overnight, that's right. But this point should be understood very well and should be practiced by everyone. Chittam. So when I speak of Vratam, I was stressing on what we talk and what we do. Now Chittam is what we think. So let it also be Saha Chittam, together. Let us think together. Let us sit down, have a brainstorming session and say these shall be our guidelines and this is how we shall live. And we shall come to a consensus. That is Sahachittam. If we don't do that, if we don't consult among ourselves, then I'll be thinking something, somebody will be thinking something, another person will be something which will match or which will not match. There will be no harmony between our thoughts. When we speak of Sahachittam Esham, yes, of course we'll think, but we think together. We all sit down and think. And the purpose of the thinking of everyone is better society to live in, better life for ourselves. And it's possible only when that harmony, only when there is that cooperation, only when there is that coherence, convergence in thoughts. Only then it will be possible, not otherwise. So this also we have to achieve. Okay, whatever has an impact on my personal life, okay, I can take the decision. But such things are very minimum. Such things are very minimum. Because most of the thought processes and decisions what we take will have an impact on the society around us because we are part of it. We are social beings. So these decisions we're taking, we should also keep in mind, we should also keep in focus, not only me, my requirements, but also the welfare of the society. How to do it? I cannot do it alone. There are many people around me. Yes, we shall all sit down, discuss, analyze, understand, and have a set of rules which is acceptable by all of us, and which we all obey and practice voluntarily. Sahachittam. So in the Sahachittam and Samanam Vratam is there. Now all the three facets are covered: thought, words, and actions. So in a society, the thoughts, words, and actions of the members of the society, when they are in harmony, that's a wonderful society. And I say all these things, it appears as an utopia. You know the word utopia? It's an imaginary world, which is not realistic. Okay, it's wonderful to listen, it's wonderful to hear, but is it possible? Is it not an utopia? An imaginary world, an imaginary situation? Yes, it appears so. And one thing also is certain, it cannot be realized 100%. That also I'm clear. So, okay, because the situation and things around us, in us, and it will be changing. It's a dynamic society what we are in. It's a dynamic environment where we are in. So this cannot be achieved 100%. But if you keep this as goal and work towards this, even if we achieve at least 50% of it or 60%, that's very great. The goal is 100%, excellent. But because the goal is 100%, we are not in an illusion. We are not deluded that we will be able to achieve full 100%. No, that's not reality. Goal is fine. We are working towards it. To work, to move, we want a clear-cut goal. That goal is set here. Samanam Vratam Sahachittamesha. That's the goal. Let's work towards it. Let's work towards it. One step towards it is wonderful. Even it's in one step, doesn't matter. 2 steps, excellent. 3, we are there. See, you have to understand it. Because it's not an individual's effort. It's a concerted effort. All the people in the society should come together, think about it, understand, and together we have to move. So moving together is the crux of the whole issue. To move alone, okay, it's easy practically. 1 or 2 people working together, that's also easy. But the whole society to move together a particular goal, yes, it appears impracticable, but even 1 step towards it is a great achievement. Goal is clear, path is clear. How much we achieve? Let us try. Let us try. Let us try honestly. Let us contribute our might honestly and request the might of others also, and go ahead. Samanam Vratam Sahachittamesha. It covers all the 3. The thought process, the chittam, and it comes to Vratam, it is what we talk and what we do. Next. Vayam sarveshu yashasasyama. Have you done this? Vayam sarveshu yashasaha syama. Not done? Just 1 or 2 classes earlier. Have you covered it? Vayam sarveshu yashasaha syama. Done. No, I'm not able to listen to you. Audio. Continue. Now, I'll ask a simple question. Have I covered it or no? Simple. Covered it? Okay, fine. Let us go to the next one. Nirhastaha. Nirhastaha. Santu Shatravaha. Nirhastaha Santu Shatravaha. This is 666.3. 666.3. Nirhastaha Santu Shatravaha. Shatru, enemy. Shatravaha, plural of it. Enemies. Santu, let them be. What? Nirhastaha, without hands. That's the direct meaning. Let the enemies be without hands. If you take the direct meaning, you get an indication that we have to cut down the limbs and arms of the enemies. No, no, no. The very core of Veda is ahimsa. The very core of Veda is Maitri Bhavana. The very core of Veda is friendship. So you cannot take that meaning. It will become contradictory. Then how to understand? We go back to the roots and we go back to the primary meanings.
Sir, the mantra, the address of 663 of
666.3 ಈ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು.
ಯಾವುದು ಸರ್?
ಅಥರ್ವ 666.3. ನಿರ್ಹಸ್ತ ಸಂತು ಶತ್ರವಃ. Shatravaha, it's in plural. And one general mistake what we do is, say, we search for the enemies outside. That's the problem. We have so many enemies in us also, within us. Without our knowledge, we are ignorant about it. That's a great problem. External enemies are visible. External enemies, we are able to see their approach, their advance. I got so many instruments to find out who is approaching from each angle. But the internal enemies cannot be tracked like this with any instrument. That's the sorry aspect of it. And the internal enemies are more dangerous than the external enemies. Is another thing. We have got all the paraphernalia. We have got arms and ammunitions. We have got a big army, everything to fight up the external enemies. But the internal enemies, we have to fight alone. It's a battle which we are waging. It's a war which we are waging alone. You see? They are the internal enemies. We should always be careful about this internal enemy. And they are so stealthy. The internal enemies are so stealthy that when they come and when they take shelter in our hearts, we will not know at all. They had come long back. They had occupied the whole heart. They will be disturbing the whole internal chemistry. But we will never be knowing what is happening. So stealthy they are, so tricky they are. They are the internal enemies. Antashatru, Antashatravaha, you can call it. Enemies within us. There's a beautiful word they use in the Vedas for this. The root is tuoshvi gati vruddhau. Tuoshvi gati vruddhau. Tu o is the vowel. Shvi gati vruddhau. Gati means it is so fast. So fast. By the time we blink, it has passed inside or outside, whatever it is. It is so fast. Vruddhau it develops also, it progresses also, it occupies also equally fast. Gati Vruddha, which has got that nature. It just sweeps within the wink of an eye and just multiplies itself and occupies the whole thing, even before we are aware of it. That meaning is there in this dhatu, tuo shvi gati vruddhau. And you know the word what they derive for that? They call it as shwana. Tuo shvi gati vruddhau. Finally, the word derived is shwana. But what's the meaning of shwana as you know today? It's a dog. I'm not denying it. But it's a secondary meaning here. But nowadays, you always forget about the primary meaning and go always by the secondary meaning and think so many. Understand so many things. In Vedas, the shwana is used not in the sense of the secondary meaning, that's a dog, but it's used in the sense of this, which just gets in, even before we know. And even before we know, it just occupies the whole thing inside. That is called as a shwana. That could be good or bad. That is good or bad. Generally, it is negative in sense, and they call it as duchuna. Duchuna is a bad dog, a dirty dog. Duchuna. There are so many Veda mantras where they speak of Are Badhasva Duchunam. Let such dirty dogs not come near us. Let they be warded off at a distance. There are so many such mantras. Now, with all this background, the question is, Shatravaha is there in that. Nirasta Santu Shatravaha. Now, who are those Shatru? Who are those enemies? That's the question now. The most dangerous, the most stealthy enemies are not the external one, but they are the internal enemies. Thus, finally, we conclude. If we concentrate on internal enemies and fight out, yes, it will be stronger and it is a child's play for us to tackle the external enemies. It won't be difficult at all. One wonderful example we have got in Ramayana. Very wonderful example. The Ravana war is over. Ravana is killed and dead. He is laying in the war field, in the pool of blood. Now Mandodari, his wife, comes to the war field in search of the corpse of her husband, the dead body of Ravana. She comes. She moves here and there, finally identifies where Ravana is felled. So she sits there, takes his head on her lap. One more point. Takes his head, singular, on her lap. What to understand? Ravana with 10 heads. That's what we generally understand. But there is very clearly written that she takes the head of the Ravana on her lap. Head, singular. You should observe all those things in a subtle way. Then she says, among so many things, one very important thing, what I want to say now, that's said there. She says, O Ravana, when you had your senses under your control, when you had your senses under your control, when you had your desires under control, you ruled the whole world. But when you fell a prey to the very same sensual pleasures, now you are dead. See? Then who killed Ravana? Is it Rama or his own becoming a slave to his own sensual pleasures? See? That's what she says. If you have control over your sense organs, you have control over your carnal desires, you are a great person. But when you fell for Sita, when you looked at Sita with bad intention, That's a clear indication that you have lost control over yourself. Your desires have taken over you. Now, when you became a prey to your own desires, what's the result? Now you are laying the pool of blood. It's a very, very important lesson that we have to understand. Falling prey to the internal enemies will always 100% definitely will spoil us. Whatever it is. Nobody can protect us. No power on earth can protect us. Unless we take hold of the situation and ride over it. We have to ride over our internal enemies. Then only we will be safe, not otherwise. But it's not the same case with external enemies. I got all the paraphernalia, I got the arms and ammunition, military, and then my spy system and other things. Okay, fine, I can manage. But internal enemies cannot be handled by these things. It has to be by our own strong will. And what do you call it? That's called celibacy. Strong will, celibacy, tapas. We have to win over them. We have to keep them under check. Then only it will happen. And it's all an internal process. So what I have to conclude with all what I said so far is, we do have enemies, internal and external, and our main target and focus is not the external enemy, but the internal enemy, because it is more dangerous and more stealthy. Stealthy means it gets into us and covers the whole of us. Even before we blink, it happens. So fast, so powerful. When we allow it, it comes, but to kick it out is a difficult part. It takes a lot of time and sadhana. To take it in is very easy. So you should be very, very careful. When you are taking in things, when you are taking in thoughts, very careful. It should not disturb us. If you are careful, then we are safe. Now, such enemies be Kshatrava Santu Nirhastaha, without limbs and hands. Now, how do you understand this? That's the important part of this. What is Hasta? Hasta is the arms. Simple. Arms. Not palm, arms. Now these arms reflexively always comes first to protect us when there is an onslaught. If you feel something is falling, the very first thing happens reflexively is the hand comes in the middle. That is, it is a symbol or it is a representation for the protective force. Hasta is for protection. Hasta is for protection, and after protection, we are comfortable and happy. If the protection is not there, we are into trouble. That's the meaning of this word hasta. Anyway, suppose you want to do some important thing, we need our arms, without which cannot do it. Even those which you use for protection, what we call it as arms and ammunitions, right? There also aram means figuratively that which protects us, that prevents the onslaughts. Arms and ammunitions. There also is the aram. Kshatravaha, they have got their own protective systems. They have got their own system by which they can stealthily get in. They have got their own strategies to get in. They have got their own peculiar ways to find out loopholes in us and just get into us. They are all called as hasta. Enemies have got their own techniques of entering into the enemy territory, externally as well as internally. They've got their own ways to find out gaps, lacuna in the security system. That's their process. So they study and study and study. Once they find a lacuna, when they find a flaw, they just get into it through that. Now all this strategy what they have got, all this observation what they have got, all this infiltrating force they have got, they're all called as hasta. It's their tool, it is their protective system, which is against our safety. What has to happen? All such props, all such supports, all such strategies of them should be ruined, then we are safe. It shall be ruined. It should not work. Our protective system should be so strong that it should be capable of taking care of their bad intended strategies. So that's how it is. Nirhastaha santu shatravaha. So let them be without such supports, let them without such props, let them be without such ideas and strategies. We don't want it. Hasta doesn't mean just aurum. Whatever performs in place of an aurum, they're all considered as aurum. Let it all happen and let the enemies be unprotected, unsheltered, unshielded. Then it will be easy for us to tackle them. And their coming will be known. They cannot come in stealthily. They come in stealthily with their strategies, by taking different forms, by cheating us, they just get in. But when they are nirhastaha, when they are without those props, they are bared. Now they cannot hide. You'll be able to see them straight. You'll be able to identify and recognize them, and we can prevent their entry into us, externally into our territory. Nirhastha santu shatravaha. Two very important things we have to understand here. One is, Shatru is not external. Shatru is internal. Of course, external Shatrus are there, I'm not denying it. But between an internal Shatru and the external Shatru, an internal Shatru is more dangerous, more stealthy. So, Shatravaha, our main focus is the internal Shatru, number one. Number two, Nirhastaha, all the strategies, all the plans have to be aborted. Then we are safe. Nirhasta santu shatravaha. This is a prayer to God. So when it's a prayer to God, I have always said that it's not just a prayer, but converting the prayer, transforming the prayer into determination and translating the determination into action. Prarthana to determination, determination to action. Only then the prayer will be answered. It's mere prayer which never gets transformed into determination and action is of no use, is an absolute waste. So this is a prayer to be converted to determination and action and be protected from mainly the internal enemies, then the external enemies. If it's the other way around, we are in problem. It will not work out. Because more than the external enemies, our internal enemies will be killing us, will be making us weak inside us, even without our knowledge. That's very dangerous. First, we should become internally strong. First, we should have all the internal enemies under control and throw them out. Then we will have that poise to fight away with the external enemies. You will be strong enough, you have all the confidence, you have all the strength. What strength? Of course, physical is there, of course, mental is there, but more than the two, the spiritual strength you will have, and that's the highest. That's the highest. No strength in this world can fight and tame spiritual strength. No strength has got the capacity. Spiritual strength is the supreme one. And the spiritual strength is got only when we fight out the internal enemies and not external. Once you're spiritually strong, now it's easy for us to handle any enemy, internal or external. It doesn't matter at all. You're strong enough. So this is what we have to understand in our real life. Our goal, our aim, the way we think, the way we talk, the way we do things, all should be in such a way it will add to our spiritual strength. And we have to be more careful about the internal enemies which eat away our spiritual strength, stealthily being inside us. Next. Suryah Krinotu Bheshajam. Suryah Krinotu Bheshajam. Atharva 6:83 1. 6:83 1. Suryah Krinotu Bheshajam. We'll discuss it definitely tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll not have a class. Definitely tomorrow we'll sit down and discuss about this. Surya Krinotu Bheshajam. Okay, thank you very much. Varun.